All right. Welcome again to another special edition, happy Good Friday edition of the NAS FPS Senior Supplemental Extended Care Specialist webinar. Boy, that's a mouthful, isn't it? That's our mission statement you're looking at. Our job is to help you succeed in building your practice in whatever way you define success. And if, as long as it's not illegal or immoral, we'll do what we can to help you and partner with you to reach those goals. All right. So today won't be any different than the other calls, except that it'll be more extraordinary because here's our agenda. There's your little Easter bunny uh, for the holidays. We have Alyssa De La Cruz with us. Alyssa, I've gotten the privilege of working with Alyssa these last few months now that we've come over to NIAS, and she has proven to be a stellar regional carrier rep. I've always been very fond of Nationwide, but Alyssa has gone the extra mile time and time again. So you're going to hear from her, especially about Care Matters 2. I'm sorry, Care Matters Together, as we've been talking on the calls, and we've had her on before. I having just come from my LTCI, the listener, that means I wasn't there, but I got all this feedback how this was the product that was most talked about at the meetings. So I can tell you the sales are soaring with it, and you're going to hear all about it from Melissa in just a few minutes, and then we'll have some carrier updates, some news you can use with your clients or others on your websites and things like that. And then a question about, can you pass the customer service test? And we'll focus on that for a few minutes. All right, let's get going. There she is, Alyssa De La Cruz. You know what? Let's see more. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'll say it sound. I have to be careful. We be politically correct, but seeing you in person was even more dynamic than seeing your picture. Though there's nothing wrong with your picture. As I said, Alyssa has gotten up in the middle of the night. She's done all kinds of things. When I've asked for them from hotels and all over the country to be there to make sure that we get what we need whenever we need it. I don't know if she does that for everybody. If she does, though, I can't imagine she ever stops working. But if you haven't gotten to know her yet, make an effort to do so. There's her contact information. That's her assistant, Brittany Cook. And Alyssa she sent me an email this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is, I don't know how earlier than that she was up, just to make sure that we had material for the call. Now, Alyssa, I think I have to give you control, is how this works. You got
Let me see.
see
I think I can just do it without it.
See if you can do it, and I can come out of it if you can.
Yeah, I think I am.
Can you see in her slides? You seeing her slides, guys?
Yeah. You see the why Care Matters Together? Perfect.
You see it, right? All right. Now I went back to that. Oh, hello. Oh. No, wait. Did I take you off the slides?
You
take
did, them back. But I'll get them back.
There you go. I got all right. Make that larger. Go ahead.
I got it. There we go.
Thank you, Alyssa, for everything. I mean that. You've done a great job.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. My goal is to work hard for you all because I know you are working hard. Getting the message out there for long-term care, and that's really my goal and passion. I've had a lot of choices at my path during Nationwide, and this is the product that has always been special to me, and I've really wanted to really become a specialist within this product. So I want you to know I'm here because I love this product and believe in this product. And my goal is to help you become as successful with it as possible if you feel that it is a right fit for you and your clients. And that's always my goal. If it's not a right fit, then it's not a right fit. But I think in many cases, you might find a right fit for our suite of options when it comes to long-term care. So obviously, like Mark mentioned, it is a hot topic right now is our joint option. So I did come out of ILTCI. We've had lots of meetings with our partners, and I like just to address what I hear back and feedback from our peers and things why that's important to them and why we do value your partnership. These products don't come into existence without our partnerships with you. So if there is something that you want to see out there in the marketplace or something that you're like, hey, I would like to see this change a little bit, chances are I've heard that feedback before. And those are things that we jot down and make note of. And that's exactly how these products got created. That's how Care Matters 1 did, all the way to this joint option. We took that feedback and said, what do you want to see in this marketplace? We can come up with a lot of ideas, but you're in the trenches every day and you know what customers are looking for, what you'd like to see to make a difference. And that's our goal. So if you have that feedback, don't feel afraid to definitely shoot it my way or Mark's way. We like to hear that because we're constantly trying to innovate these products. It may not be an instant fix this year, but it might be something in a new iteration or a new product we create down the road. But with that being said, I want to share exactly why I think this joint option has become so popular in the marketplace. And I think at the end of the year, we might have fallen. I don't think they've done the last one for Limericks, where we fall either 1 or 2 in the long-term care space. And I think it just comes down to our values with this product and that cash component to it. We know we study this marketplace. We know it's important to our clients and our members that they want a cash indemnity benefit. They want to stay at home as long as possible. And that's why that solution continues to deliver that for them. That's the only kind of long-term care options we have available. And I mean, I'm not going to say it's always going to be that way, but I don't foresee us changing it in the near future. We truly believe that a cash benefit makes it easier for you and for your clients for the experience that they're looking for. So these why Care Matters together, we go to our individual products. I don't want you to forget that there is an individual product. It is still a fantastic product. It's just maybe you don't have a client that is married or you really don't have somebody that is as insurable, then you might look at that individual product. Why you might go to the joint product is for a couple different reasons. Is you want that cost effectiveness of having 2 individuals on one contract. So that's an easy one. That was really what the marketplace was missing. There was only one carrier that could offer that, and it was a reimbursement style. So our goal in the last couple of years was to be able to provide a cash option that still covered 2 individuals and gave you that cost effectiveness. Now we don't have lifetime benefits or anything like that, but what we do have is up to 96 months of payments. Why that's important and why we still made this a competitive option is in many cases you can see that our inflation, when we add inflation, is in the entirety of that contract. So you're not paying for an additional rider to get inflation on, the first bucket of your benefits. It's in the entirety of it, so you don't have to worry about that. But 2, in many cases, we've been able to show that you might be able to get out of a cash product, 96 months, you might be able to get in those 96 months more than you can get on a solution that, may have lifetime benefits, and it may take you 10, 11, 12 years to get what you're getting in this solution. So that's what really makes that difference for some individuals. Why I also think this is a really popular one is I don't know how many times I've seen it where I see a couple come in together and maybe one of them isn't as comfortable with the long-term care story. They feel like that death benefit's really low. I don't understand. I may not need long-term care. I know I'm going to pass away one day, so life insurance makes sense. But the long-term care component is always a hard one for a lot of individuals. And I think this really answers that question for that one person. Generally, it may be the husband, but it can vary. And I think that's just because they don't know if they didn't have that event, they got the small death benefit, and that's their biggest concern. And that really addresses that concern for them to say, hey, if you don't use that benefit, it's still staying in there for your loved one. It still stays there maybe for your wife, who probably is the one that's going to need it and utilize it. She may be able to provide some of that care informally to you. She's the one that's going to need that care and need that cost, that benefit to provide for some kind of care, because you won't be here probably to provide that in most statistics. So I think that really addresses that concern of knowing, well, even if I touch a month of it, the rest is still there. 95 months is still left for my spouse in that situation. The pool is flexible. There is no requirement on how you use it. So one person can use it in total. You can just say, hey, I'm going to give, you get 4 years, I get 4 years, whatever it may be. It's flexible for how they want to use it. Obviously, that cash component is going to be a big one, knowing that you can use family care, informal care, a friend, home care, whatever's created in the future that makes sense for you, your benefits can pay for. And that also includes those incidentals that it may not be tied to care itself, but it is part of that long-term care claim itself, which is all those incidentals like I need someone to mow my lawn, I need to pay for service to deliver groceries, I need someone to come and clean the house. All those things that you may not be able to do that our clients may find cash works best for them. Another big differentiator in the marketplace, maybe not in the joint space, but in the marketplace, not everyone has tax advantages out there. So it really helps with that opportunity, how we built these products. And this is true for individual and joint, that you have that opportunity for HSA use, to have that conversation and say, hey, do you have an HSA account? You might be able to get some of that LTC premium back as a reimbursable expense. Or if they're business owners, small business owners, what are their opportunities there to purchase through their business and be able to offset some of that with some deductions? So there's huge opportunities there. That's probably my number one topic around long-term care these days, is where can I get some tax advantages? A retroactive elimination period, that's a big one for a lot of people and is unique to us in this market space. So there's still a 90-day elimination period, and it does not matter what kind of services you received. So it can be, hey, my loved one's providing it during those 90 days. That makes no difference to us. It still counts. But on day 91, you're getting all your benefits back in that fourth month that you're in. So if it's $10,000 a month, you're getting a check for $40,000 to recoup any costs that you had. If there was minimal to no cost, then that's for you to put in your savings account, reinvest it if you want, or it's a nice nest egg to save for when costs go up. Because right now it may be minimal care that you need, but maybe in a year or 2 years, you need to get more skilled care. Maybe you do need to move into assisted living. That makes a huge difference, because now you have benefits that you didn't utilize out of the policy and not in the policy. Or if that person were to pass away, it does pass on to that loved one to utilize. So that's a big difference there. You will have a lot of payment options. I think this is one I still get a lot of questions on is, oh, I thought you guys still did single pay and just 10 pay. We do single, 5, 10. There is a 20 pay. Now, Care Matters 2, our individual product, does not have a 20 pay. Hopefully in the future we can add that, but everything else is going to be the same. It has a pay to 65 on the individual, but I prefer this one. So the joint one does have a 20 pay, and then there's a pay to 100. Why I like to bring this one up as well. This was kind of an unexpected accident that we were grateful to see, which was in the traditional space. We were seeing individuals bring up to us and say, hey, did you realize your joint product is beating, if not maybe a few dollars more than a traditional long-term care covering 2 individuals? We didn't realize that on this joint product. It made a huge difference. So now people were looking at it and saying, I have to show you. I wasn't showing you before because it became a dollar amount and I had to keep it down. And that's why we're going traditional. Now that's bringing that conversation to say, look, it's not that much more. It's pretty much on par, the same pricing, but now you have guarantees, you have a death benefit, and you have cash indemnity. So if you hadn't looked at us before and really like your traditional policies, that's great. I would just highly recommend take a look at that. If you have a pay to 100 somewhere else that you're looking at, look at our joint product and see where that stacks up, because it can make a huge difference and the value that you're providing your clients. And then the streamlined underwriting process is going to be a big one as well. So we do have a digital interview now. So that means your clients can do that at the ease of their home. They can still do the phone call. So that's really where we collect the medical information. So you can do that over the phone. However, if they prefer and can handle a link sent to them in their email, that's what I would recommend. It's relatively quick. And when we see people actually do that is probably like 10, 11 o'clock at night. So while
Did you freeze on me there, Alyssa? Did everybody freeze? No, Raymond's still moving. I can see him. I'm glad there's a pulse, Raymond. Alyssa, you froze on us. Yeah, thank you for waving your booklet there too. You froze on us, Alyssa. Yeah, you're frozen. I don't know if you can hear me. Well, seeing Paul, oh, it was Paul waving his book. Okay. I can see that, but wow.
She might have lost her link.
Well, that happened last week. It can't happen 2 weeks in a row. I mean, the guy was in a hotel in Colorado and the internet went down. Hey, zooks. Alyssa. Well, let me go back and just briefly talk about this until she gets back on, if that's what the problem is. I still, no, I don't have her slides up any longer. All right, let me go back to mine.
She may be trying to
come
get
back on,
to refresh.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna give you some insights from what I should see if she does come back on, and if she doesn't, then we'll move forward. But at least let me bring this up and share this window. with you if I can. All right, there. Now, can they give me, how do I get the window? Share this. Now that's sharing that. Now I want to get the window that shows me the PowerPoints. You're not seeing the PowerPoints now, are you? With Alyssa's picture?
No, just
No.
offices, people.
It's just offices and people. Okay. Is that Alyssa? Is she
That
back?
is
She
me.
is.
Okay.
I'm back. I'm sorry.
You were still sharing though, Alyssa. So go ahead. I'm seeing, we put your picture back up. We don't know what happened. We thought, you got tired of us. or
Which was
something.
weird. I had to exit because I could still hear you guys and see the screens moving. So I was like, I'll just log back out and log back in. So that was weird.
I hope you noticed we said nothing but nice things while you were gone.
I
About you.
did
Okay.
while I was at least logged on.
All right.
Okay,
I've got
perfect. Where did
a
I?
picture of you on. Who's seeing Alyssa's slide still? Everybody else?
I can see it.
Okay,
We
good.
can
Okay.
say,
Where did
Okay,
I leave
let's-
off by chance?
The
I
part where
don't
you
know
were
how
gonna
long
give cash to all the agents. Yes.
Yes, that one. Well, we'll skip
Yeah.
over that one again.
Well, it's
Hopefully
cash.
I was
heard you
going
say
under
cash.
cash.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully I went over,
You went
I
over
was
the
going over,
streamlined interview. That's where you were at.
perfect.
You gotta
Perfect.
love
Okay,
Candy that
so
she pays
the,
that kind of close attention.
thank you,
That's
Candy.
great, Candy.
Thank you,
Go ahead.
Candy. So the underwriting, so you have the digital interview, so that can be sent to your client's phone, their email, and they can do it at the convenience of whenever they want. They can start and stop it. So if they only have, 20 minutes today, they can do it. It's usually about 30, 40 minutes that I see most people complete it. We still, if they're 60 and older, there is a cognitive screening that has to be done. That part is still over the phone, but I can share with you that hopefully by fourth quarter, we will have that digitalized as well. So the whole experience can be digital and they don't have to interact with someone over the phone if they don't want to. So we will be the first in the industry to have something like that.
Good.
And then your residual death benefit. So this is always an industry high. We offer, so in the joint space, we are the only one that offers a residual death benefit. So that means even if they use all their benefits, they get a 10% of whatever the death benefit originally is as a minimum death benefit to pass on to their loved ones. Usually people think of that as burial cost. On our single policy, it's 20%. So that's unique to us. We continue to think that's a value to our clients and their loved ones, even if they use all their benefits. So those are going to be some of the why someone might look at Nationwide, and these are our top reasons. Some things I do want to give you that might be helpful as well is just to show you some, let me click through it real quick. Where did I put it? Right here, some numbers. So why you might look at Care Matters together versus the individual product if you're looking at two people. So this is a couple, and you can kind of see we're looking at the same idea. They can do 4 years on Nationwide's Care Matters individual product, or they can do 96 months on our joint product. So this is that savings that I was mentioning. They're getting the same benefit. In this case is $2,500 per insured, but the difference is over 10 years of payments. They can be paying $5,074 on our joint product, or they could pay $7,060. So that's really where that savings is why would I consider one over the other? Now, some people prefer individual products because maybe they want 7 years of coverage, which the joint won't go there, or won't go beyond 4 years if you're really thinking of splitting it down the middle. However, for somebody that's maybe unsure, and sometimes it's that husband, maybe I'm going to be on claim for 1 year, 2 years, maybe not at all. That can make a difference of knowing there is a bigger pool for that spouse. And I was able to save on premium as well. So I think that's really what's attracted a lot of individuals to our joint product. On top of, which I did not mention, is its extended underwriting. So on our individual product, you can only go 4 tables. So essentially a table D is how far you can go into underwriting. Our joint, to match the marketplace, so we can compete with the other carrier in this space, we have 8 tables. So we can take on 8 tables of risk. So this gives that opportunity for somebody that might not have been able to get on our individual product to get to our joint, which I know you've seen it, where for some reason one person gets declined, the other spouse is like, nope, we're not taking it, which makes no sense to me. So hopefully this will help alleviate some of that, where if one spouse isn't as healthy as the other one, that they can still get coverage in this situation. Now, the thing I will point out is only one of them can go that high in table. So that would result in a standard rating for us. So if they were like a table 8, only one of them can get standard. One of them will have to be at least a table D or better in health. They both can't be, 8 tables in, because that we just don't have that capacity. So we would just say it's a no offer in that situation. But as always, we can pre-screen anything that you're looking at. You can talk to underwriting directly through a phone number or an email, whichever is your preference, to lay out the situation. If you get a confirmation of, hey, yes, this client's good, save that. They give you a number and code so that you can put that in an application, so that if some reason it gets declined because another underwriter saw it differently, if that information is still true from what you gave in the pre-screen and nothing else came up during the interview, we will honor that. So most of the times it may just be a difference of underwriting opinion. Not that that happens often. I don't want to say that we decline and they have different views. Most of the time they do have the same view, but on the rare occasion that someone looked at it differently than the other person, we will honor what we pre-screened, unless, something came up like, hey, I had osteoporosis, but on my pre-screen I said they were non-smoker, but we found out they were a smoker. That could lead to a decline. So that's different information. But we really wanted to expand the pool of what this joint product could do for you and reach whatever you were using already, and just expand upon what you already have available, just give you a cash option and all the things that you already like about Nationwide, just in a joint capacity.
Alyssa,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have a quick question. On the Care Matters 2, do you have to come in with 2 people, or can one person apply and still get some of the other benefits you were talking about, like the expanded tables?
It would have to be 2 individuals, because it is a joint, it's just like a survivorship product.
Oh, yeah,
It's 2
okay,
individuals.
Okay,
So,
yeah,
yes.
got it. Thanks.
You can do, now the other thing I will elaborate on is you can do, maybe it's a mother and daughter, that kind of situation. I've seen a couple cases where we looked at maybe where children were looking to maybe get some coverage for their parents. Now the parent still has to be the person that owns the contract. However, maybe they were looking at 2 individual products with the Care Matters and say, hey, I'm gonna get them 2 products. What they could do in some cases, it was almost like a wash. It was like getting the child free insurance in some situation, not free, but giving them a discount, if you will, where the daughter was on mom's coverage and the daughter was on dad's coverage on the joint product. And in turn, they still got the same coverage they were looking at that they would have gotten on our single product. However, now if they don't use their benefits or don't use all of it, then their child now has a long-term care policy that they can access, whether it's dad's policy or mom's policy. The only caveat, which is a small pool these days now, but it does still happen, is there cannot be a bigger age gap than 25 years. So I know for me and my mother, I'm 26 years apart from my mom, but my sister is 20 years apart from my mom. So in that case, she would be the person I would say, hey, this is a great sales idea for you to get
That's
that
great.
coverage.
That's really
So
good.
I would definitely keep that in mind. So keep the only caveat I always like to stress is whoever is insured is who's owning those contracts. So just keep that in mind in case you do put mom and dad on one policy and child wants to pay for it. The parents have to be the person that owns the contract. They can pay for the policy as their children, but the parents have to own the contract unless it's in a trust or something like that. But that's the only caveat I like to put out. So that's really what I had for you, but I do want to mention, and I think Mark's going to put it on there, if you want to take a deeper dive with me on April 10th, I'm going to show you some sales ideas. I'm going to show you some illustrations so you can see this in live. So you can ask the questions. If you want to see an example, you can see it right then and there. So we'll go into that a little bit more in depth. I just wanted to give you kind of the high levels of why this product has been really popular and resonates with our advisors and clients. And I think it's just really because these products came out of creation from conversations with advisors such as yourself. We take those conversations seriously. We always go to ILTCI, and this is where we meet with a lot of our long-term care advisors and ask them, what do you want to see? What's on the marketplace that's not there? And see if that's something we can create for them.
Okay, well, first of all, Alyssa, thank you very much. I want to bring back up the slides so we can show them what you were just talking about as far as the invitation. And no matter how many times I click on share the window, it keeps showing me that your guys' pictures and not the slides. So I'm trying to figure that part out if you're wondering what the heck's going on. And let's see
Can I
if we
ask
can
a
get,
question while you're doing that?
please, that's what I wanted you to do, is fill in the
Okay.
time with some questions.
So Alyssa, when it's a cash payment,
Mhm.
so I know with reimbursement, you send in your receipts at the end of the month and then you get your payment. So how does a cash payment work? Are you paying them a full month, and then each month they have to show proof that they still need it? How does that work on the claim side?
Sure. So we pay it in months. So if your benefit is $5,000 a month, and you go on claims, so during the claims process, one, it's the same as reimbursement. You either have a severe cognitive impairment or you can't do 2 of your 6 ADLs.
Okay.
Once that time frame happens during the 90 days is when we're kind of making sure that matches with what your doctor is saying, or if you don't, we can go ahead and verify that, create a plan of care. After that's approved, that benefit just comes to you every single month. You get that $5,000 a month, unless you say, hey, I don't want $5,000 a month. I always get that question is, do they have to take it all? No, but I would recommend you take it all. It's your benefit. You might as well save it, because you can't come back to me and say, hey, I didn't use it all last month. Can I have what I didn't use? No. So I would say get it out of your policy in that situation. Now, in the sense of recertifying, so we recertify once a year just to make sure, and that's probably going to be the same for any other carrier as well. We're going to make sure that you still need long-term care, because you can turn this on and off. So an example I think of is if you had a stroke. Today, you may not be able to dress yourself and feed yourself, but in 6 months, you might be able, next year, you might be able to do that. So we will recertify based on that situation. We can do it as frequently as every 3 months, but generally it's annually. So I would think where we recertify less than a year is those situations like maybe a stroke, where like maybe things did improve in 6 months. So let's check back and make sure that, are you still unable to do those things?
Are you saying you won't recertify cognitive impairments?
Not that, well, we'll recertify to make sure that everything is still the same. So the doctor's saying, yep, you still have a severe cognitive impairment. Yep, you still can't do, or if it's your ADLs, yep, you still can't dress yourself or move around on your own, those kind of
Okay.
things. So we
I
will
was curious.
certify
It's
that.
not going to go away, so I just was curious. Do you
No, I'm
continue
sure
to
you're
do
not
so?
gonna, I'm sure the cognitive is still gonna be the case, but obviously we'll just, it's pretty much them saying, yep, that's still the situation at hand, and here's their plan of care.
So
Nothing's
who's-
changed here.
You reference plan of care. Who
Mhm.
is putting together the care plan?
Sure. So we can put that together. We do offer that, and there is no cost to that, because we did see a need in this space, because we had a lot of clients that had informal care. So doctors weren't really doing that for them. Who tends to do that are facilities or home care agencies. So if you weren't getting home care from an agency itself, they were the ones creating the plan of care and providing it to us. But if you were doing it informally, like my spouse is taking care of me, then Nationwide can do that for you and say, hey, you're still able to do these things. Okay, that we can create that plan of care, so they don't have to pay a home care agency to do that.
Perfect, thank you.
Remember, we have a relationship with Amada Home Health Care, who will not only help you get a second plan of care at no cost to your client or you, but will help you with the claim. And Alyssa can tell you that again, when the agents, I'm sorry, policyholders are left to try to do claims on their own, they're not as nearly as successful as when a professional home care agency does it, and has done it for so many others that they can get it through. They have over a 95% first submission claim approval. So you have that as part of
Exactly.
being part of us. So you should take full advantage of that, and take full advantage of the fact that they pay for it.
Mark?
Yes, go ahead.
Is Amada in every state?
We have about 220 franchises around the country at the moment, and they'll find the closest one.
Okay,
you.
perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you if you're living in the middle of Wyoming, who's there, but
Oklahoma.
but Oklahoma's is fine. Oklahoma's they have plenty of representation in Oklahoma. All right.
Alyssa, just real quick,
ma'am.
sorry, Mark, while
Go
he's
ahead,
got
Sharon.
her, can you address international benefits?
Sure,
Cash.
absolutely. So it's still cash. So it's a great throw out there. So I would say internationally, that's going to work really nicely. Now, I will say, just like any other carrier that does pay internationally, they generally just pay the death benefit portion. Some do it at a 50% rate. We pay it at 100%. So generally, if you know they're going to potentially retire internationally, we design this differently. On the joint product, they get the first 36 months internationally. On the individual policy, the first 2 years pays out at 100% plus its inflation. So that's where I would design this a little bit differently. So if I knew they were going to retire internationally on the joint product, I'm going to choose the 48-month option because it's going to give them the most that's going to pay internationally, which is the 36 months, and leave 12 months for, hey, if you get care or start off care in the United States kind of thing, they have that option. On Care Matters 2, I'm going to design a 2-year policy with 5% compound or an inflation because I know they're going to get the entire policy internationally. So that's where that conversation is going to look a little bit differently. Not to say they couldn't choose, a 6-year coverage or 4-year coverage. They just have to know that you may not get access to that internationally. So you might have to come back to the US to get those remaining years of benefits.
This is
But-
the best program on the market, guys. I've looked at these, as far as hybrid goes, there's nothing close. You have to be able to qualify for it. That's the key, but you can, because of the second to die aspect of this policy, it's more liberal on the underwriting. Keep in mind, and we're going to drop it because, again, you're going to get a whole hour with Alyssa on the 10th of April. But keep in mind that this plan does not pay a death benefit to the surviving spouse. This plan is paying the death benefit to after the second person dies. That's why you're getting more for your dollar. That's why they can do some of the things on the underwriting that they couldn't do on the single program. If they want this, they want their spouse to get the death benefit upon their passing. It has to be two Care Matters or Care Matter 2 plans as opposed to Care Matters together. Lots of great things here. And this is something that I was talking to you about that Alyssa set up. On April 10th at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I think it is 10 Central. I should have said Eastern for 11. April 10th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. See, we said 10:10 and got confusing. That's why I changed it. But I made it wrong when I did. Here you're going to have a whole webinar just with Alyssa, talking about a really deep dive on this program. This invitation will be attached to the recording on this webinar. You need to register for it. Here's the invitation to register for it. You don't want to miss this. This is lots of really good stuff that sets you apart when you have this program to offer. Again, it starts with cash, guys. And what more need be said than that? The fact that your clients are going to get paid in cash. You just mentioned international benefits. They're going to get paid the full amount of cash. It might only be for 4 years or what she said, or 3 years, whatever, but it doesn't matter. They're going to get the full amount. And however long they make that last, that's up to them. They don't have to file for reimbursement. So again, this is a superstar program. The making up of the 90 days on the fourth day of care. By the way, that was a question that came up, Alyssa. If I go on claim, I'm 2 months into my claim and I pass away, does my surviving spouse get the 2 months back upon becoming eligible at the fourth month, or they never became qualified because they didn't get to the fourth month?
I think
You
it's
know?
the 4th month. So you mean like during claims while they're waiting the 90 days?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Correct, because you had not made it the 90 days. Everyone has to qualify individually. So
Okay.
you have so at that point, no, that wouldn't happen. If it was an individual product, the death benefit would pay out, but on the joint product, it wouldn't be until she goes on claim and she has her own separate 90-day elimination period that she has to meet.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, and that would be another reason to tune in. If you've got any of those kinds of questions, you want to write them down, send them to Alyssa. You have her contact information, but these are the kind of things that Alyssa will go deep into. And I know some of you are very particular about the wording and the policies and everything else. You're going to be in good hands if you write down the date, and we'll promote it. But April 10th, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, you'll hear all about the wonderful product portfolio of Nationwide as it relates to long-term care solutions. Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you. You guys have a great rest of your weekend.
Yep, you have a good holiday
Thank you,
too.
Alyssa.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, some of you were saying to me you couldn't get contracted with Nationwide because you couldn't see it on the portal. I checked it out. It's on the portal. Just look at it. Here's the link. I'm going to send it to you with the email with the recording. Just click on it. Make sure you're contracted with us through Nationwide. Why? Because again, I arranged for you to get access to a contract that one has to do $80 million in production to qualify for. So you're going to get the highest paid commissions paid direct by Nationwide to you if you move your appointment, or if you haven't been appointed before and get appointed with Nationwide under us. So you'll get this link in the replay.
We're seeing your chat screen, so I don't
You
know if you
see,
think
you're
we're
seeing my
looking at
chat
something.
screen?
Yeah.
You're seeing my chat screen. See, I need you to tell me these things. So why is it not? It says stop sharing, start sharing. Here's what I want to share. I want to share that. You weren't seeing my chat screen. All right, I go to my team thing and it says you're sharing. All right, so I stop sharing. Now, are you seeing the portal link?
No, I'm not.
No. Well, if you're not, then nobody else is.
Nope.
No. Okay. I'm going to go back and see if I can start sharing again. Share this window. All right. Now that should be Paul that we're seeing. Are we seeing Paul?
I see
Yep.
Paul.
You're seeing
Okay.
Paul.
So now I'm going to try to see if I can't get this to go on the PowerPoint slide again. Tell me if that's working. Share this window.
I see you and Paul.
You see me and Paul. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And now do you see me and Paul?
Now I
What do
see
you
your
see?
chat.
You see my chat again. All right. And here's the slides. I click on the slide. I go down to this TED thing. It says share this window. Looking to share that window, and for reasons that are unexplainable to me, it's not coming up. That's us again, right?
You
Yep.
and Paul.
Yeah, go figure. So, all right, let me see if I can do this again. Share, share. See if that's sharing. That's the link. I don't want that. It was down here. We never had this problem before. Now we have it today. Every week it's a different problem. All right. Not respond. Oh, okay, I'm going to get back to this. This is why I don't like when you have to switch back and forth. There's Paul. And then if I go here to the PowerPoint, it says you're sharing. Am I sharing the
We see
drive-in?
Paul. We see Paul.
Thank you. It says, I see diving into Care Matters, and you see Paul. And
Yep.
I don't know, share this webinar, share. You see the names.
Now we see
Okay.
chat.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to get it right. I apologize for the technical difficulties.
Now we see Paul.
That's right. Well, it's nice to see Paul. You got to admit that. Stop sharing. Michael Stanley. Sharing control bar. Sharing control bar. All right. I'm trying. 11 participants. No, more than that. Sharing your control bar. You don't see it. I
Nope.
see it. You don't
Just
see it.
Mark and Paul.
Just Mark and Paul. It's getting redundant here. Okay.
Well, you're going to send it to us, so I mean that's not
Yeah,
relevant. I
I'm
guess
gonna
that you
send it.
have to.
Yeah, but I still want you to be able to see it while we're talking about it
Yeah.
now. All right, let me stop sharing that one, and then let me see if that brings us back to this. Stop sharing. Start sharing. We're back to Paul, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we see your screen with Paul.
Yeah. And you see the chat with Paul, but we don't see my slides. I'm seeing my slides, but you're not. And nothing is bringing it back up. So wait, let me see. It says stop sharing. Your screen, stop sharing. Aha. Now, let's see if that lets me share the screen with you. With it. Says I'm sharing my screen. And it says you're
It's
sharing
not.
your screen
It's
and you don't
chat.
see that. It's chat. Okay. Let me see. One more thing to try. Now?
Nope.
No.
No?
Going to X out of the chat. Try that.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll exit out the chat. But then I will continue with the pictures on mine, but I want to make sure that we stop sharing. So we're not sharing the chat any longer. Now, here is the slides. I think we can make this work now. Start sharing, share this window, share this window. Aha. There it is. I found it. Now you're seeing the imitation.
Yes.
See? Keep on
Yay.
trying.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
Fireworks.
Thank you for hanging in there with me. All right. Now, from current slide. And slideshow.
Mark, will I
Nice.
have to get relicensed with them under NA?
Yes, you must be appointed. They won't actually appoint you till you submit your first piece of business, but
Okay.
but yes, you have to get appointed in advance to be able to do that. All right. So you're seeing the slides, right? No?
You were seeing the nationwide appointment link. Yes.
Are you
Yeah,
seeing
we
the
see
nationwide
it.
appointment link? Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. Okay, so I'm going to go to resume slideshow, and that should bring everything back up. Mhm. We were celebrating just a little bit too early, I think. Resume slideshow. All right, there's the link. That's you're seeing. All right. Okay. You'll remember last week. You're seeing Mike, right? We had, or not yet last week. Wednesday, we attempted to have a training on the Wellaby products, and that's where Mike, who was in a Colorado hotel, lost his internet connection. The hotel lost their internet connection. So Mike is going to go home and go to a studio and record it professionally and have it available for us next week so you can have it forever. The entire Wellaby product portfolio, and he'll share with you. There were a lot of good things that he got to share with us before the internet went down. So when you get that link, you'll want to check it out. But just give you some ideas of some of the things he was sharing, that Medicaid is now becoming much more aggressive in going after people's assets after they pass, if they paid anything to them in benefits in long-term care. They see 17,000 homes already this year, trying to recoup some of the monies that they've spent. So this is probably going to be more and more in the news. And again, it emphasizes how important it is that you have a plan, or else when it comes to Medicaid, these states are going to be ruthless in going back and getting the money that they paid out for any of your loved ones' care when they pass. So you want to tune in. Again, Wellaby pays $500 a day on their short-term care product. And there's lots of other good reasons to consider that. So look for that link for that replay of that training. All right, let's talk about some carrier news that you should know about. Again, Moo came out with their weekly Moo Express and Moo Focus emails. They're attached on the replay. Again, check where it says long-term care. There's always good articles you can send to your clients or to prospects. and also check on some of the other things that are happening internally at MOVE. They'll tell you about rate increases or anything like that that's in the plans. GTL, again, they're now in Oregon. It seems like Oregon is on everybody's list, so I would expect that all of the short-term home health care, limited long-term care, because now there's some of them are starting to refer to it as limited long-term care programs are going to be in Oregon as well. And all these, when usually one state where one carrier gets appointed in a state, all the other carriers follow right behind. So good to know. All right, Sharon. You there, Sharon? Okay, she's on mute.
Yeah, I'm
It's been-
here. Sorry, I
Okay.
was multitasking.
That's okay. Well, you're one of the ones that has asked about this, and Cindy, you too. I spent a lot of time this week with the people at Manhattan Life. Alita was good at bringing this subject up. They wanted to make sure that we got a clear definition of what's required to make a claim in Manhattan Life. And attached is a Manhattan Life claim form. I'm going to bring it up right here, and I'm going to show you the letter. So this is the Manhattan Life claim form. And attached to the email, you'll see that what is the answer to all of your questions was both. Yes, it's 2 ADLs, and yes, or cognitive impairment, but it's the doctor that writes the letter that says it's because of those reasons that you collect on the claim. So the claim is honored with 2 ADLs or needing help with a cognitive impairment when your doctor submits the letter. That's how it works. Okay, so there's no ambiguity about that. Let me
So
go back
Mark,
to
the claim form isn't appearing. It's just the links on your
Oh, really?
computer. But I
Okay.
can tell you, I've looked at the claim form and it is just a box, and they don't list all 6 ADLs. I think they maybe list 5. I have to double check that. And it's just putting a check mark. Can they do it? Can they not? And that's all the doctor has to do on that one.
Are you seeing my email with the replay of today's webinar?
Oh, no, just the links for ML
Okay.
claim form.
Okay, so I'm gonna, again, this is one of those situations that every time I switch a slide, I have to share again. So let me stop sharing that, probably in my own Pearl, and come back over here and share this. And that's the email that's going to come to you with after this call. And on there, you're going to see, that's the chat box again. Anyway, attached to the email is the actual letter from the internal people at Manhattan Life that said if the long as the doctor writes a letter that says you need help with the 2 activities of daily life or a cognitive impairment, that's what qualifies you. Okay, so you'll have it in writing from them.
But there is a form, so he's not handwriting a letter. He's checking the form.
There's a
that Sharon
form, but he's
referenced.
also giving you his assurance on the email that's attached here that that's how it works. And this is the guy that's in charge of things internally. So
Okay, and we're seeing
sh-
the participants again, not your
yeah,
screen.
no, you're saying the participants. Now you want to see my screen again, so we got to go over here, and I won't come out of this again. I'm not doing that again because that's what got us into trouble this time.
So Mark, on that note,
Yeah.
I think other carriers will say physicians or a medical professional. I think Manhattan Life, it has to be a physician only. Is that how you understand it?
That's how he wrote the letter, so I guess that's true. I
Right.
mean, so
Other
it wasn't.
carriers are not that way.
It's important to I gotta tell you, none of these people really know because they don't have enough claims to have experienced enough of this to,
Right.
you would think they know, but none of them do. I shouldn't say that out loud, but after working with them this entire week to try to get somebody to clarify it, that's what it came back.
Now we see your screen.
Thank you. All right, so now back to the slideshow. But I wanted you to know, I spoke to a lot of people in Manhattan Life, and it's been it's been straightened out. So you'll have a letter attached. All right. John Hancock is also on that piece. They just sent out an email with all kinds of rate, in other words, rate increases that are coming. They call it in-force rate action, but in April. The only reason I think this is effective to know is if you have any John Hancock policyholders in any of these states, Texas, California, all the, that you see here, you want to make sure that you're in front of your clients now, because this is a perfect time to say, let's freeze the benefits where they're at. So you've gotten the value you can out of this policy, and it'll be there for you at its attained value whenever you need it, and then supplement it instead of taking a rate increase, supplement it with a cash paying long-term, short-term home health care or extended care program. Right? I've done that 4 times in the last week, and the clients are grateful every time you do it. I welcome these rate increases now because it's just a perfect time to talk to your clients and offer them a smarter way to put a plan together. So that's John Hancock. Now let's move on to a new version, something new we're going to share start on these calls. I appreciate all of you so much, but some of you are really proactive in sharing what you do and how it works, and what we and the rest of us can learn from it. And being part of a group like this, you get to share best practices, and you get to find out, good or bad. Probably sometimes it's more valuable to find out what doesn't work as it is to find out what does work, but to see exactly what someone's doing and how it's turned out. And this week I got 2 emails, one from Paul Rothman, one from Cindy Johnson, who constantly are keeping me informed of things they're doing to build their practice. So I wanted to share them with you. Paul, this is Paul. Paul came up with an email that he sent out, which I thought it's very New Jersey of him, but I thought it was so good. Just a quick email regarding reality. Paul, why don't you take it from here and tell them how you used it? You have to unmute yourself, Paul. We heard you before.
Yeah, I sent out this email to about
you.
a dozen people with whom I have spoken with over the last 2 months who have not made the decision yet to buy long-term care. So I needled them with the following, telling them that I have a lot of clients, not including my group health clients, and I hear horrible stories all the time. And just recently, I've heard a number of people whose spouses have come down with some kind of dementia or some other disgusting, serious problem, and that long-term care is something you should consider. So out of these, it was actually 11 people. Out of these 11 people, I received, well, 1 response you're going to see, and 2 others over the last couple of days who were now interested because they needed that little push of reality to understand the need for long-term care insurance. So you'll see on the response on the next page, I'm not sure if you have it there, but this one person wrote, let me see, oh, okay. Then I wrote the following. And I try to keep the emails short because we all receive a ton of them. So I want to just get to the point. And one person wrote back right away. Well,
I have that reaction. Do you want to talk about the paragraph on the end of this one first before I go there?
Sure. So, and I've used this in business situations many times because I used to have a big block of health insurance that I sold recently. And I would speak to a client, usually the owner of the company, about life insurance or disability insurance. And they would say to me, no, I have no mortgage. I have a ton of money. I'm good. Really? And my comment was always, I understand that. And you have $1 zillion in the stock market, but as you know, that can go away. You have a good business now, and you've had one for quite a while, but that too can go away. These aren't far-fetched ideas, I'm saying. But the only guarantee that you could ever have is a life insurance policy or a long-term care policy or a disability policy, because no matter what happens to your business, no matter what happens to the investments, we all know we live in a crazy time now. No matter what happens in the political field, the life insurance, the disability, the long-term care will be there. And if you have so much money, I'm not asking you for $500,000. I'm saying for $5,000, you can put a plan in force that has my favorite word, which is guarantees. And it has always worked 100% of the time. Not always instantaneously, but it does work.
So he sent this email out and got this response.
So I knew this guy was, his name is Steve. I knew he was going for hip replacement surgery. Now, I presented this plan to him and his wife, I don't know, 3 years ago, and probably twice during that time frame. So now that he had his hip surgery, I know he's not insurable for 6 months in most cases, but his wife is, who's in great shape now, and he will be. So as he wrote in one of the bullet points, we're aware that we should not procrastinate the decision to get long-term care. I responded to him saying, I'm nice to hear from you. I know you had your surgery, heal up, and we'll speak towards the end of next week. And at that time, I'll be able to present something, at least for his wife, and get the ball rolling here.
Let me say
So-
this about you, Paul, not to humble you, but it's true. Paul is extraordinarily good in staying in front of his clients. Every week you hear me talk to you about that, but he's really good at it. He has a newsletter, a monthly newsletter he sends out. They swap family stories. And when time comes for them to make any kind of insurance decision, Paul is who they come back to. And again, Paul's helped them through all the different stages of their life. And here's proof positive that when he sends out an email, he gets a reaction saying, Paul, you know, we said we didn't need it at the time. We put it off, but now look, something happened to us and we need to do something about it. And Paul said, well, I'm here. Cannot overstate the value of just continually finding ways to stay in front of your clients.
And let me add one more thing about the newsletter and staying in front of people. I receive other newsletters from different organizations, just like you all do. And I'm sure you all lapse into a coma at some point reading these incredibly boring, detailed newsletters. My newsletter is all about, I really make as many jokes as possible. I talk about my family, the children, the grandchildren, what's happening, birthday celebrations. I attach pictures. And at the very end, I have my commercials for long-term care, life and disability, and annuities. And I'm telling you, from every single newsletter, that's every month, I'll get at least 2 sales out of it, hands down. Because I was sick and tired of people saying, you know, you're selling me life insurance. That's great, Paul. I appreciate it. But I just bought this great long-term care plan. What are you talking about? I sell long-term care. Well, I didn't know that. Now, when they read my newsletter, they know it.
It's so important. And again, last week I shared with you from the ILTCI that 20% of all the policyholders said they didn't purchase it until a year after they made the initial inquiry into getting more information. So you're leaving so much business on the table if you don't stay in front of them. And here's a perfect way to do that. If you want to see a sample of Steve's newsletter, by the way, Paul's newsletter, he puts it out every month and he'll gladly send you a copy. Or if he sends me his latest copy, I'll attach it to the email that comes out with this. And you keep up with all the kids and the grandkids. It's good. It works.
Great thing.
All right. So that's Paul. Thank you for sharing, Paul. Cindy, can you unmute?
Yes.
Okay. You were kind enough to send me an email this last week that talked about what you mentioned on last Saturday's phone jam. And that was about how you went around setting up your CRM. Can you talk to this for a few minutes, for a few seconds, whatever?
So Brandon, like I said last week, is married to one of the North American Insurance Services agents. And I think they're up in like Washington or Oregon. I don't remember exactly. But he is a techie guy. And so he has helped his wife set up all of her systems. And so he had offered this, I guess it was last year. He sent out an email, and you just go and you schedule a time with him on his little Calendly link. And then he will actually, according to this, you know, if there's something you're wanting to get set up, he'll kind of give you a cost. He'll look at that and then he will provide those services. I've never had a situation where I was charged by him for his service, but I just did the initial and talked to him. But now I think he's available kind of as, you know, a subcontractor to work with agents, you know, to help them get things set up or even, you know, provide input if you're trying to choose between, you know, two products. But I know he knows his stuff. And so he would be a good resource if someone is having difficulty trying to understand, how do I get this set up? You know, maybe which is the best one for me based on how you're going to use it. But yeah, that's Brandon.
Great, and thank you for doing that, Sandy. And I don't have it on here, but this is the email you sent me. Was Brandon's Calendly link on the bottom of this message
I
that you sent
think
me?
it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, his
check if you
contact
will, and just
information.
send it to me, so I'll put it on the replay webinar so they can contact him directly. We're all tech challenged, and I
Yeah.
shouldn't speak for everybody else, but
Yeah. Well, you could just
most of
forward
us are tech
it.
challenged.
Yeah,
What's
the
that?
one, so the email I sent you, did I cut and paste or did I forward you his email?
You forwarded you forwarded me this email. I don't
Okay,
remember his email.
so this
Yeah.
is a cut and paste. Oh, okay, yeah. So his email was attached to this because I forwarded his and then put this in it. But I'll forward it again and then maybe
Copy
you
and
can.
paste the link to you so I can send it out to
Okay,
everyone.
I'll do
All
that
right, and then you can get some free advice about what you should be doing to set up your management, your client relationship management. That's what CRM stands for, management program, so that you can be very efficient in staying in front of people and send out hundreds of emails at a time, and constantly take some of these news stories that we share with you and send them out. Again, you're looking to send things of value, something that's going to help and it'd be a positive piece of information for your clients to see, because that's what's going to make them come back to you. And Cindy, thank you for sharing this route. And you got that because you met them at the conference, right?
Yeah, I had
Yes.
sat by them last year at the conference during our roundtable events, and that's how I met them both. Yes.
So that's a good plug for the conference. And we're going to talk about that in a second. I just wanted to revisit this real quick. Starting April 1st, coming up this Monday, 6 of the agents on this call are participating in the LEAD program that we're experimenting with extended care leads, specifically a digital real-time lead program, and we'll keep you posted as how they're doing. They've all got all the paperwork in, they're set up, ready to go, and I keep being told April 1st is the time when they're going to start seeing the leads. So stay tuned for that. But last week I shared with you that if you didn't get in on the test, you can go direct to Lead Concepts and get in on this registered Social Security analysis program. You go through a course and you get certified as a registered Social Security analysis. And then they do a lead program just for people with that certification. So you can take advantage of that too. And again, it's available for Lead Assist. So we'll partner with you on it if you put it in writing to us and tell us exactly what you're going to do. All right. That was the slide from that for Lead Assist. Now, Cindy gave us the perfect, and thank you, Cindy, for sharing what you did. The perfect lead in is just another reason why you need to come to the conference. The conference is July 15th and 16th. It's at the Star in Frisco, Texas. This is the training facility of the Dallas Cowboys. Here's the link. It's on the Facebook page. It's on the portal. Where it says conference, you just click on it and you register. If you do it before Monday, you're going to get 50% off the cost. That means you can attend as a VIP for under $100. It'll be $199, so it'll be half that price to come as a VIP. The extra VIP will get you an invitation to a event on opening night at the Sidecar Shuffle, they call it, or something Sidecar Shuffle. Anyway, it's supposed to be like a big what's the name with all the games and all the other things, Dave and Buster's type of place, but on steroids, even better. I haven't been, I don't know it, but that's what I hear. Then you're going to get to come to a private cocktail party at the Cowboy Club. The Cowboy Club is a private club just for people that are members, the players at the Dallas Cowboys and all the surrounding celebrities that are affiliated with them. So you'll who knows who you'll meet, but you'll be able to have a party over at the a cocktail reception over at the Cowboy Club, and then you'll get a tour of the entire domed training facility that they have. And that itself is interesting in its own right. I've been in there several times. And so for now, what amounts to be under $100, you'll get it all. So take advantage of this and sign up. I'm working on getting something for the month of April, but it's not clarified yet. I'm also working with the carriers to put together contests, and I've gotten some verbal approvals. I'm waiting for the writing approvals that will help offset your travel costs to get here. But for, as you just heard, just that introduction that Cindy made at the last conference is paying dividends, and that she sat next to somebody who shared with her their talents that she could utilize. So plan to come. You don't want to miss it. We are
Mark,
tied with the most
Mark, I want to
attendees.
say something about the conference. So every
ahead.
year, I've gone every year possible, and I hated it during COVID when we didn't have it. But every year, my goal is when I go to that conference, I'm going to bring back 3 bits of advice or things that other people are doing that I think would improve my business. And then I focus on those 3 things. And it really has improved my business, whether it was a book recommended, because I know Chris from Lead Concepts recommended a book one year, and I came back and read it, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so, I think the book was one, I don't know what it was, but anyway, I read it, and yes, and I remember Dina, she said she got up like at 5 o'clock every morning. Well, I can't do 5 o'clock, but I do. Now I get up an extra hour early every morning just to get collected and get organized. And so those types of things and systems you can use, technology that they're showing, you take so much away from those conferences as far as how to build your business, get leads. So I highly recommend it. I love it every year, and it's a good time.
As a completely unsolicited testimonial from Miss Cindy Johnson, thank you very much. Completely unplanned, but thank you, Cindy, for sharing that. Again, I only went to one, and I can tell you I came away with a lot of good impressions about the quality of the team that we have at NAIS, and you'll meet all the carriers, you'll meet all the vendors that we deal with, you'll meet everybody one-on-one, and you'll have a memorable time that will pay dividends, as Cindy just said. All right. By the way, if you aren't already a member of our Facebook page, it's a private Facebook page. You have to be invited. Just go to the link that you see here, and they will send you an invite, and then you can become. There's thousands of NAIS agents on there, and people are constantly helping other people with problems that they're having. So if you haven't made a habit yet to look at the NAIS Facebook page that's driven by all of you, then you're missing out on stuff that you'd probably find helpful in your practice. Thanks, Cindy, and thanks for sharing the other idea with us. That's how we all get better. Again, this was, you're getting 50% off. So what was normally $199 will be half that if you get the ticket, or if you get the regular ticket, it'll be 50% off that. But you have to do it by Monday, the 1st, if you're going to be eligible for this program. Okay. So that's the Aegis newsletter that I shared. Actually, yeah, no, there is, I'm not going to go through the Aegis newsletter with you, but the Aegis newsletter is attached. Make sure you look at it. I would have spent a lot of time on it and not had that technical problem in the beginning. In there, you're going to find lots of information that is applicable to be used as stuff you can send to your clients to stay in front of them. Really worthwhile things about what's going on with the carriers, within the industry, within politics. It's one of the best newsletters in the entire profession. Don't miss it by not taking full advantage of seeing that. And then I was going to talk to you all about Paul's, how Paul mixes all his business together here. This is, he's, how much he's put together, and this adds up to a fair sum of money. But we'll Paul, I apologize not that we didn't get a chance to put the spotlight on you, but it's just so diverse the way you've built your practice here. This is life insurance. This is a life insurance through Securian. This is, I'm doing it, I guess, now anyway. This is a $250,000 universal policy, and this is a vision plan. That's Paul working across all his different client base. And there's no reason why every one of you shouldn't be doing this. It's working in front of your eyes, so take full advantage of that. All right, anybody have any observations from the field? It is Easter. I didn't take you through, but I'm going to, again, we're not going to have a meeting tomorrow because of the holiday weekend. We are not going to have, we'll have our meeting next Friday. Next month, I'm going to dedicate most of these calls to helping you improve in the building of your practice and how you serve your clients. Up to now, we've been featuring carriers on every call. I really want to get back to the basics with all of you to start focusing on the fundamentals that will make you even shine more in the second quarter of this year. And that'll lead into the conference. And then from there, you should really take off and make this your best year yet. So again, if you can, make plans to come to the conference. Anybody have any observations you want to share? I didn't mention, and I should share with it, I had a $100,000 Care Matters sale this last week, and a Care Matters Together sale this last week. And again, I can't share with you how much of a difference learning that product makes. I was the #1 agent in the country when the original Care Matter product came out 4 years ago. Because I was a huge fan of cash. And then they came out with Care Matters 2, which was a way to try to improve on some of the tweaks that the first policy meant. And in some states, Care Matters 1 is still available, but in most states, it's only Care Matters 2 that you can go to. And now they came out with Care Matters Together. And Care Matters Together is so efficient because, again, it's a second to die policy. There's only one other hybrid placement that offers it, and it's a reimbursement policy. This is a cash paying, paid up to even past the 90-day elimination period. You get all your premium back. Make sure you attend that training. You'll fall in love with that product too, and your clients will appreciate the fact that you bring it to their attention because, again, it's still a relative mystery to most, and you having the advantage of knowing this product will help open doors for you. All right. I promised I'd do this, so we're going to get through it pretty quick but I want you to start to think about this over the break. All right. Customer service is the differentiator between you and your competition. All right. And I could talk all day about the things you should do. In fact, I do on these calls, and only a tiny handful implement these things. And that's what I mean by knowing and doing are two different things. It doesn't matter how good these ideas are. It doesn't matter how great we can show you that they work, or when we bring them to you, these opportunities, why you should take advantage of them, if you're not going to act on them. And so making sure you make a deliberate attempt to be a good or deliver good customer service, not only at the time of the application, but also at the time of the delivery, and then throughout the entire life of that policy and that relationship with that client will be something that will, again, help you grow your business exponentially, as you've just heard when Paul and Cindy talked to you. Here's, it's a test, all right? I'm going to send it to you, and you can get to rate yourself, and I'll show you how to use the score here. But 1 is the poorest and 5 is the greatest when you see the different things that you should do. Okay. So, #1, be friendly. Again, this transaction that you're having with the people that you're presenting to is based on the emotional need they had to solve this problem. The reason they decide who they're going to do that business with is by who it is that connects with them. So go out of your way to make sure that you form a really good beginnings of a relationship when you start to talk with a prospect, because it's a relationship that you're going to revisit time and time again. 2, your attitude matters, all right? More than the service, your attitude. When you're positive and excited and enthusiastic about what you're offering to people, that comes through to them. And that becomes the foundation of why they want to continue to do business with you, product after product after product, life stage after life stage after life stage. What you say up front matters. That's why most of you were given an introduction talk when you went through our training. You know that you have to know how to introduce yourself in such a way that explains what you do, what their role in all this is, how the system process is going to work, and what's going to happen when you come out with a positive result in a place policy. So be conscious of that. All of that goes into the kind of relationship that you build, right? Again, this is the kind of stuff that nobody talks about, but it needs to be focused on because it is a critical part of you and your relationship with the clients, right? You have to be customer focused at all times. They don't care about your product or the service. They care about you in your involvement and your knowledge and everything else that's going to benefit them. That's all. They're coming here to make the decision. They're meeting with you to make the decision. Are you the person they should turn this decision over to? Because they don't have the time or the understanding to be able to dissect these different policies. They just want to know, they want to get that feeling from you that, yep, this person knows what they're talking about. I can trust my future to putting myself and the solution that I want to use to this in their hands. And that's the kind of relationship you want to build. So it's about the client. You know how to serve in terms of the customer. Again, everything's customer focused. They have lots of problems. You have lots of problems. Everybody's got their own frustrations. You don't know what's going on in their life. They don't know what's going on in your life, and none of that matters. What matters is, are you able to help them with the issue they brought in front of you? Because that's what they wanted, a professional consultant, a professional relationship with someone who, again, could bring advantages to them that they couldn't bring to themselves. That's what they get in you as a specialist. And it's important that you build that kind of relationship with them, keeping them front and center in how you communicate with them. And I'll let you go through the rest of this as we talk, but then you can rate yourself. All right. There's actually 14, and then I added a 14 and a half thing to this. This was a test actually offered by Tom Peters. I had read about this years ago, and I came across it again, and I thought I would share it with you. But you can add up, you give yourself these credits, you add up these scores, and you'll see where you stand in the customer service level. Next month, I will have on the calls with us the people from Amada, the people from Harry and David, the people from the worksite people, and the some of the Aegis people, and some of the other strategic partners that we have under the FPS NAS umbrella. And from that, you will have point after point or connection after connection where you can set yourself apart from the competition. Nobody has as extensive a portfolio or as an extensive network of relationships that you can deliver a service to your clients like no one else can. And we want to make sure that you take full advantage of that. So that's what the month of April will bring. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I kept you longer than I intended, but again, no call tomorrow. All right. Aim to be number one in customer service is going to be our goal for the month of April. Don't forget tomorrow's or Sunday is Easter. I hope you still have somebody left in your brackets in basketball, but either way, have a good holiday, and we'll talk next Friday. Anybody have any questions before we go?
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you all hanging in there with me today.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much. Happy
All right,
Easter,
happy
everyone.
holidays. Right. Bye-bye.
Bye.